In this last episode on nonviolent action, I want to specifically explore this question that I think as a Christian one has to deal with when looking at nonviolent action. It's a question posed particularly by more conservative evangelicals and conservative Christians, and specifically when Christians are woke or seek social justice and are trying to change the landscape of racial issues and such. This idea that the gospel is enough. The gospel is what we're supposed to pursue. And so the question that we need to ask ourselves is the gospel enough? And is pursuing nonviolent action undermining what the gospel is really saying? I mean, if sin is a heart issue, don't we preach the gospel to the heart and that will then change the social landscape? And isn't nonviolence subverting that by inverting it, by trying to change the culture and the actions before it changes the heart? And I think there are a number of examples that we've talked about of nonviolent action where people were trying to change things that were maybe inappropriate. So for me, I would say that the Revolutionary War, even though I think it's cooler that they tried nonviolent action before they went and started killing people, nevertheless, to use nonviolent action to change taxes that you don't like, to pay for a war that protected your freedoms and your land, I mean, that just seems maybe inappropriate from a Christian perspective for me. On the other hand, something like the Baltic Way, where you have people who are shining light on in the darkness, where this lie, this fabrication has been told, and they're demonstrating that no, that lie is not true, and where they're showing unity and the importance of community, that seems like it's a pretty good thing. I delve into all of this a lot more in the full episode, but my ultimate conclusion is that, yeah, the gospel's enough, as long as by gospel you mean word and deed, orthodoxy and orthopraxy. Because unfortunately, a lot of times the gospel is used by the right to quell justice. The gospel's enough for racial injustice, but not enough for abortion. The gospel's enough to fight poverty, but not to fight Marxism. We need to legislate against that. The gospel ends up being strong enough for any enemy out there, but never strong enough for the right's own boogeymen. When it's a justice that they don't want to have to deal with, it's a social justice. But when it's fighting their boogeymen, they drop the adjective and just call it justice. Like I said, this is a complex issue and a contentious one, so check out the full episode for more details.